It's taken another turn, and it's not a good one. Yesterday, Simmons was kicked out of practice after he refused to participate in a defensive drill, and the team suspended the guard for tonight's season opener because of it. Joel Embiid did not mince words about his teammate afterwards. Embiid told reporters he hadn't talked to Simmons and, quote, "Our job is not to babysit somebody." And I'm sure my teammates feel that way as well. Chris Broussard still with us. Chris, what happens next here?
Yeah, well, let me start by saying this, Jen. I think Doc Rivers did the right thing, and I have no problem whatsoever with anything Joel Embiid said. I mean, you're grown men. At a certain point, it's like, man, forget you. We got a season to play. All right, you do what you got to do, but we going on. Here's what should happen, and I'll be the first to admit, I don't think Ben Simmons has it in him to do this. But what he should do is go sit down with Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers and say, look, I still want to be traded, but I'm going to put on a smiley face and go out there and play the best I can. I understand I've hurt my trade value, and I'm going to go out there and ball, and I want you in good faith to continue to try to trade me. I'm going to do my part by playing great on the floor. You do your part, please, by looking to trade me. Then meet with his teammates, apologize, say, look, guys, let's put everything in the past. I'm here now. I'm ready to ball. Let's go out and win some games. Then hold a press conference before he plays the game. Because if he goes out and just shows up in a game, the Philly fans, I think, will torch him. I've talked to several people down there, and they're like, man, Philadelphia fans will chew this dude up if he steps on the court right now with all this going on. So hold a press conference before you play. And to me, be a man and say, look, I'm sorry for the way the last 4 months have gone. I was upset mostly with myself because I didn't play up to my potential in the playoffs. But I was upset that we lost in the second round. We shouldn't have lost that early. And, yeah, I was upset with some of the things I heard after we lost from our organization, from our locker room, from fans. I was upset. But I didn't handle it the right way. All right, now I got to look in the mirror, and I've got to just be the best player I can be because that's what I can control. And I'm going to go out there now and play my best and help the Sixers win basketball games. And when he is asked by the media, because he would be, does this mean, Ben, that you no longer are seeking a trade and you want to stay in Philly? Just say, I don't know what the future holds, but right now I'm a Sixer, and I'm trying to help the Sixers win as many games as possible. And leave it at that. And then go out and play. Because, guys, Ben has ruined his trade value. And I'm not, look, it's 30 teams. I'm sure somebody will take him. There are a couple teams I talked to that like him still and would take him. But there are other guys I've talked to from teams that say, look, I'm not so sure this dude isn't still stuck in a mental block. Like what we saw in the playoffs, how do we know he's still not in that space, right? And so he has to go out and show that he's over that mental block that we saw in the playoffs. And also his lack of professionalism is rubbing some people the wrong way. Because it's like, if I trade for him, who's to say he won't act up here? He won't do the same thing here. So I think that, again, I don't think he'll do it, but I think that's what he should do. Because the only other choice is to just continue to mope and go through the motions. Because God, if he were to continue doing what he did yesterday, he's in danger of losing his money. Because he refused to work. Like Doc said, look, get in. And he said, no. So you're refusing to work now. So I'm not paying you if you refuse to work. So you're going to have to play one way or the other. And so you might as well try to play the best you can and try to get your attitude in order so that you can up your trade value.
You know what? Chris, you're right. If I'm Ben Simmons, I call a team meeting. I say I want all the players and I want all the coaches to have this team meeting. And I'm going to go around, I'm going to point to Danny Green. I say, you cool, F you, Joel Embiid. You cool, F you, Doc Rivers. I say, now that we done cleared that out the air, we good. Now, here's the thing. Let me ask you a question, Chris. How much did Doc Rivers help Ben Simmons' trade value by saying, I'm not sure we can win a championship as our starting point guard? Did that help or hurt Ben Simmons' trade value? When Joel Embiid said the turning point of the ball game is that when we had a shot for 2 and we ended up making 1 and they came down and made another shot, how much did that help his value? See, for me, I agree with you. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid is finally speaking his heart on what he truly feels and what he truly thinks of Ben Simmons. He told you that. He got angry. The angrier he gets, the more truth spills out of his body, Skip. And so for me, and I said this at the time it happened, I came out here that Monday after that Sunday. I said, this is up. This is over. I said, I understand athletes having been in a locker room, having been a pretty good player in a locker room. I understand we take the slightest. That's why you have to be so careful on what you say about a player in your own locker room. You had to be very, very careful. And the greater the player, the more careful you have to be. It's almost like you're stepping on eggshells when you offer explanation with what happened. You better take the onus on yourself and don't mention that other player because he's going to take it as a slight. Ben Simmons, in the video that we showed earlier, guys, Ben Simmons had, I don't care. I don't give a F about this practice, about anything going on in Philly. And it's not a good situation. He's handled this very unprofessional. That's not how I would have handled it, Skip, and I've made that abundantly clear. But to Chris's point, I don't know if he has the maturity right now. He's made it abundantly clear. This is not it wasn't a holdout. This is that get me the you-know-what out of here. I'm done with y'all. I'm done. Skip, let's just move this. Can we just move this on, Skip? Can we just move this on? You're going to take a loss. You never get equal value. Do you actually think they got equal value for James Harden in Brooklyn? That the Houston Rockets got equal value for James Harden? The Cleveland didn't get equal value for Kyrie. When you give up a superstar, you're not going to get equal value because they know he wants out. So they go under. If I know you want to get rid of something, Skip, I'm not paying you full price for it. It's just a bad situation. It's a bad look for Ben. I hate it for the Sixers, but this all started because Ben needs to get better. Ben's going to have to face facts now. He's going to have to get better as a player, Skip. But Doc, when at his lowest moment, Doc and Joel Embiid piled on him, which I thought was unnecessary.
That obviously started it. But to Chris's initial point a long time back, if I can remember exactly what it was.
What'd he say?
The option was here, and I was told from the top of the organization, they hoped that Ben would do what Chris just proposed, that he would be a pro, that he would come back and realize in good faith, we'll keep trying to trade you, but we need you to do what you do. We need you to suck it up, swallow some of your pride, and just play basketball the way you do. He's never been a 1,000-mile-an-hour guy anyway.
No.
He sort of plays at the same half speed all the time, and it works because he is so gifted and has such high IQ in basketball. He's such a great defender. Made the All-Star team last year, made first team All-Defense. Little known fact, in that Game 7, when he was the culprit, he was demonized, he held Trae Young to 5 of 23 shooting, and that kept him in the game. So that's how valuable they deem him.
So why didn't Doc mention that instead of saying he didn't know if he could win a championship with a point?
You know, heat of battle, sometimes things spill out. After you've lost a game you should not lose, and Doc has been on the hot seat. He was on the Clipper hot seat after they blew a 3-1 lead, and here they lost to an underdog Atlanta team in 7 games, and the Game 7 was at home. So Doc was at fault, and Joel just spilled his guts when he said the turning point was we had an open shot. Well, everybody saw that, everybody knew that, and we didn't really need Joel to pour gasoline on that fire. So, Chris, my point from the start of today's show has been that the biggest problem for the Sixers right now is not Ben Simmons, it's Joel Embiid, because he won't stop talking. And where I went a different direction from you, Chris, early in what you said was you thought it was great that Joel is spilling his guts and speaking his heart. It is killing this team because he is making this unfixable.
Yes.
Because when he goes, I'm not a babysitter, and then that last line, at this point, I don't care about that man. I was afraid he's going to use something else in there, but I don't care about that man. Well, once you go there, the bridge, it was on fire, and it just burned all the way to the ground. So all of a sudden, your co-star is saying, I'm out.
Right.
And so the reason Ben can't play anymore in Philadelphia is not Ben, it's Joel.
Right.
So now they're stuck because his value just hit bottom. Because you're going to have to just give him away if you're going to let him.
Not only did Joel Embiid burn the bridge down, he just dumped 100 crocodiles in the water underneath the bridge he burned down. And here's the thing. Ben Simmons is saying, how am I going to go play for a coach who doesn't believe he can win a championship with me, Chris? So how do you explain that? How do you work for a man that doesn't believe you?
All right, I'll say this, Shannon. You know this, too. All season long, including into the playoffs.
Yes.
Doc Rivers bent over backwards
he did.
to support Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
I thought he actually embarrassed himself. Like when people start bringing up, man, they're hack-a-benning, right?
Yep.
Hack-a-ben, maybe you should take him out. Doc actually said, if you think we should take him out, you don't know basketball.
You don't know basketball.
Yep.
And then a few games later, Doc's taking him out. So, I mean, all year long, he backed up Ben. Hey, he does all these other things well. I'm not worried about him shooting. You guys don't know what you're talking about. All that.